Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Strawberry Hill Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Simmons, and as always, we're here at the Shop Cigar Lounge. Like I say every single episode, please come and see us. Before we get started, make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms at Strawberry Hill Podcast. And before I get started, want to give a big shout out to Daddy Eastside that's behind the mics and cameras and doing all the stuff. He had his new baby here recently, so he's been up for about 74 hours. But congrats on the new kid. Congrats. I wish a lot of health and success to the baby, not to you. But so today I am blessed to have the mayor and CEO of the Unified Government of Wyandotte County, Mr. Mayor Tyrone Garner.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, thank you. Yeah, it has been a awesome 4 years to have you as mayor. I wanted to just say thank you for your commitment to the county, for you putting yourself out there, getting elected. I know you probably hear more complaining than thank yous, but from me, I wanted to say thank you because it's not easy putting yourself out there to be the face of Wyandotte County and unified government, and you're the one that takes all the bullets. You're the one that takes everything.
Yeah.
And you got to take the good, the bad, the ugly. But I wanted just to thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So with that being said, like, what has it been like being, the mayor of Wyandotte County?
Oh, it's been a challenge. You know, I mean, it's had its highs and its lows. Like with anything in life. You just you especially in public service. I mean, the whole goal, it's never about you. It shouldn't be.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't for me. And if anybody gets into public service and that's their rationale is they want to make it about them, then they're in the wrong profession.
Yeah.
Because especially when you're a public servant, I mean, it's really about people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
How do you improve the quality of life of residents and make life better for them?
Mm-hmm.
And that comes with a lot of humility. I mean, you have to put service of others above yourself sometimes. And those closest around you, I mean, believe it or not, they serve with you.
Yeah.
Because over the years, you miss a lot of family events. You miss a lot of your children's games.
Yeah.
You miss birthdays, holidays, because, when you're really true to people and what that means being a public servant, and when you're really trying to exhibit servant leadership, and you take that to heart, I mean, so it's your family, your children, they're all serving and sacrificing with you, maybe in a different way. But that sacrifice is just as great for them as it is for you.
Yeah.
When you talk about just being a public servant.
So go back, I would say 4 years ago, or probably a little bit longer. What made you get, kind of say, you know what, I want to do this. I want to run for mayor of Kansas City.
I had to pray about it.
Yeah, I bet you did.
I really had to pray about it. It was just simple. A lot of people know Carolyn Wyatt.
Mm-hmm.
She called me, Arisha Towers.
Mm-hmm.
They got together, they called, and they had really just been talking to people in the community. Arisha is one of our community activists, and Carolyn has been a neighborhood leader for decades.
Mm-hmm.
And so they know a lot of people, and they were dissatisfied with the direction that the county was going. And they knew me from my time on the police department. They knew that that over the years I was a CAC commissioner. The governor had appointed me to be the 3rd District Kansas African American Affairs Commissioner for Johnson, Wyandotte, and Miami counties. I did that. I also served a stint on the Community College Board as a trustee. And one of the things I was proud of there was getting the daycare center open. I made a commitment to get that daycare center open before I left, and it's still open. And hold the line on taxes. I worked with Alvin Brooks and Damon Daniels, being a member of the Ad Hoc Group Against Crime, their board. I was on the Housing Authority board here in Kansas City, Kansas. And then people know my story. As I rose through the ranks on the police department, retiring as a deputy chief in 2019, and then going to the Housing Authority of Kansas City, Missouri when I retired, and I was their public safety director. And while there, these people approached me, and not just them, other people. But they were the main two that really just put the fire under me. And, it's humbling when people see something sometimes in you that you don't see in yourself. I mean, why me? I mean, Well, they go back to that track record. And I've always been a people person, just working with folks, just trying to improve the quality of life for people. I mean, anywhere and everywhere. And people that know me know that I try to really just do what's right to help people. And I think that's what inspired people to ask me to run, because they knew I had a passion and heart for people. And when they asked me to run, I was a little shocked. At first, I thought they were joking. They're like, "No, we're serious." And so I prayed about it, and I said, "Okay," but I said, "I don't have a campaign team. I don't have nothing." And then plus, I had moved out of Wyandotte County. I had moved to Johnson County, and but once I made that commitment, I moved back. Because after I heard all the issues and the concerns, and then even while I was on the police department, I would sit through meetings. And especially when you talk about the areas east of 635, when my dad moved our family here from San Jose, California, we lived in Parkwood. And when I graduated from Wyandotte High School in 1987, and over the years, I just watched the disinvestment, the disenfranchisement. And then when you learn about the history, especially in the Northeast, of the racist redlining policies and practices that occurred right here in Kansas City, Kansas, in spite of the Quindaro ruins and this being the gateway to freedom, we still dealt with that right here. And looking at the condition of areas where people deserve to have investment, but it wasn't being invested. Swings didn't work, potholes everywhere, trash blowing up and down the street, blight, decay. And then when you looked at the stats and in certain zip codes, and the life expectancy was sometimes 20 years less than it was in the western portion of our city. So when you talk about economic segregation, that was real here. And then you talked about high property taxes, the high effective property tax rate. And then I'd listen to the narratives of, "Oh, your taxes are going down," but people would show me their bills and like, that can't be true. What they're telling me and what I'm seeing is two different things. And what I'm paying, that's my reality. MBPU and how that hurt our working families, a lot of our poor, a lot of our seniors on fixed incomes, and how they were struggling to make ends meet. When I heard those stories and I started talking to people and going around the community, that really galvanized me. That really energized that passion I had for people. And after I prayed about it, the rest was history. And Arisha and Carolyn put together a team of folks, and Taylor Wash was my treasurer. Didn't know her, and she did an awesome job. And Valerie and Daryl Burton were on my team. And Daryl Burton, he started a program with Lamont McIntyre. To help those individuals that were they weren't supposed to be incarcerated. And they supported me in my campaign because they knew my background and history on the police department. They knew what type of law enforcement officer I was. They knew what I stood for, especially when you go back and when I was the Kansas African American Affairs Commissioner, and we really talked about Michelle Alexander's The New Jim Crow. I encourage anybody to read that book. And how bad law enforcement has a profound negative impact on hurting communities, especially communities of color, when you talk about racial profiling and injustice. And this was during an era right around, that national narrative that caused President Barack Obama to come out with the 21st Century Policing Report. Something I fully embraced because it was common sense approach on how to bridge positive relationships between the police and communities, especially communities of color, during a time when Black Lives and Hands Up, Don't Shoot was a mantra throughout our nation. And there were protests everywhere demanding justice and equality in treatment from our public safety officials. And it was hard for me as a public safety official because I wore that uniform. But I think I gained a lot of respect. I know I did, because people knew what I stood for, and it was just doing what's right and making sure that everybody was treated equally and fair. Because if you know anything about people of color, we don't want to be treated. We don't want anything extra. We don't want more. We just want to be treated fair. And those are the messages that people were telling me. Now you translate that over into the run for mayor, and it didn't matter what race you were. the issues were the same across the board, everywhere I went, Black, white, Asian, Latino, gay, straight, no matter what their religious preference was, no matter what their persuasion, the issues were the same. And people were telling me that they were challenged just to make ends meet here, and said, that galvanized me. And I said, well, let me see what I can do. And I'm just one person. And I made that known. I said, but I will try to work with the community, try to give people a voice. So, because a lot of people saying their voices weren't being heard. They were being ignored. They were being shut out of City Hall. They didn't have access. They didn't know who to talk to. And so I made those type of commitments that I would be a different type of mayor to make sure that everybody mattered, everybody valued, whether you're the guy sitting at the bus stop or you're the CEO of a multi-million-dollar corporation. I'm going to treat everybody the same. There will be no respective person when it comes to me. You will have the same level of access. And hopefully if you have an issue, I can bridge you to the right resources to get those issues resolved the best I can. Because again, I'm one person, and you have to rely on staff. You have to rely on other elected officials to really get things done. But my goal was to try and collaborate and hopefully get things done in a way that at least met the reasonable expectation. And I have to say reasonable expectations that people had from their mayor.
So did you think that you accomplished those goals when, you became mayor? Because it's a big burden, because when you took over, and it's been like this for, before you took over, but there's been a lot of issues in Wyandotte County. Just, you just named almost half of them. And it's just, there's so many things that I know, once you become mayor, like, you gotta start somewhere. You can't tackle every single issue all at once. And also, like, you can't solve all the problems in 4 years either. Because, people want immediate, results. Like, all right, you're mayor. Week 2, you better get this stuff situated.
See, me coming from the police department, I think that was, if I have to say, that was one of my misconceptions is when you're dealing with people's lives and you're in high, basically when you're just dealing with lives and the livelihood of people, we're problem solvers.
Yeah.
And usually we identify a problem, we gather our resources, we collaborate with our stakeholders and partners, we execute a plan, and 9 out of 10, we get the problem fixed, or at least we get it mitigated to the point to where it's not a problem anymore. And so I came in with that kind of approach of just, wanting to collaborate. But there are so many issues that I didn't even know about.
Yeah.
But me being the person I am, it's like, okay, we can tackle, and we're going to tackle as many of these problems that we can, and working with folks. And so to give folks a voice, I created task force, and they grew over time. But all that did was bring in those community folks that said they wanted a seat at the table and they wanted to have a voice. And the goal was to pair them up with elected officials or myself or people from my staff to actually work on bringing forth recommendations that I could push as the mayor to the commissioners, who ultimately make the decisions on what policies and ordinances and resolutions are going to be passed, and advocate for those things that they brought forward to become law. And so that was the power that I felt of having these task forces, because it allowed people to bring forth their ideas, to reimagine things, to look at our current policies and see those policies and ordinances reflect the values of who we are as a community and where we want to be, and who I am. Do they reflect my values? And so we opened that door. But ultimately it's up to the commissioners. But there were so many issues. There still are. What I found out just from years of deferred maintenance, problems that I didn't create, that I inherited, that really, unless you were really paying attention, kind of like me, you really didn't know they existed. Bridges started going out. Bridges were out. You see what I'm saying? Infrastructure needs that had been put off for years. And you have to say, why? Who made these
that's
decisions?
What I was going to ask. Like, why is that?
Yeah. But
like, I know you probably don't have like the...
I don't have the exact answer.
Yeah.
But what I did is the first thing I did is I said, okay, I go back to the 3 F's, find it, face it, fix it.
Yeah.
We need to find out and assess our organization and see what the problems actually are. That's the find it. What is causing the problem? Let's get to the root cause. Because right now we're just hitting on symptoms. We're doing patchwork. We've really got to get to the causes of these things and find real solutions to problems that are really having a profound impact, negative impact on the quality of life of our residents. And that bothered me. And so we brought in an outside, and I'm big on outside, independent, unaffiliated audits, and not just what we've been seeing, where they're just audits at the city where we just make sure that processes are in place, that the signatures are there, the boxes are checked.
Yep.
I wanted forensic performance audits that really did deep dives into the organization. And so we started off doing a soft audit. And what we found out was very troubling when you talk about what was going on at City Hall.
Yeah.
What came from that audit was that our fiscal position was in very bad shape. Mm-hmm. And I talked to the consultant that came in, and he just shot straight with me. He said, Mayor, you're going to have to address this as your top priority. He said, I've been in this business a long time. And he's like, your city is going to be in the red here probably in the next few years. We're looking at 26, 27. Now, he used the word bankruptcy. Uh-huh. Now, in Kansas, I don't believe there's any statute that we can find that really deals with bankruptcy. So I got beat up a lot for using that word. Mm-hmm. But the reality is I had to be able to speak in a way that the average everyday person could understand the severity of what we were talking about. Because, in Kansas, how cities get around going bankrupt is they just keep raising taxes. Yeah. But my thing is if you keep raising taxes and keep raising taxes, you look at Detroit, you look at East St. Louis, you look at other cities, eventually you're going to tax people out of your community, or you're going to tax people into poverty or homelessness. Who are you going to tax? Yeah. You're not going to have anybody left to tax. And there's still federal guidelines, that cities can utilize to be able to address those issues. But I didn't want our city going down that road, because just from the information, money is everything. If you don't have money to pay your employees, money to fix severe infrastructure, you know what I'm saying, concerns that you have, you really don't have a city, because you don't have the money to run it and fund it. Yeah. And so that was priority one at that point. And so I came out, and we really addressed that. We also found out that there were some, I don't even know the correct word, there were some rifts in a lot of practices. For example, what come out of that as well was $23 million over 3 years of monies that couldn't be accounted for from credit card purchases. And so, yes. And so I had to turn that over to the district attorney and the KBI. Yeah. Because, just my background, it's that's not something I can slip on the rug. There was something there. So I started
$23 million
plus. And I said, okay, this is deserving of an investigation. Yeah. Now, naturally, I can't accuse anybody of things, but I said, I want an investigation of this. And so those are the type of things that we were looking at. And then that consultant left because all they did was a soft audit. Their recommendation is that based on what we're seeing here, you need to do a deep dive audit into the unified government in every aspect: management, practices, procedures, policies, guidelines. Everything. Everything. And so the biggest and number one issue at that point was getting our financials in order. Yeah. And so I came out in the community and I told folks, I said, we're not at our best. That was at my second year state of the government, and we're struggling. And we worked hard. And I can tell you, our administrator, we got a new CFO in, and they really went to work. Reggie Lindsay, who's our budget director, they spent a lot of times working late, working together with our executive team, and even some of our commissioners, and a lot of our stakeholders that we relied on. And we were able to just change some processes and protocols. It didn't fix the problem, but that 26, 27, maybe 28, where we were in the red, that got pushed out. So it gave us some breathing room to continue to working, to do other audits, to really get to the root of the problem, and to hopefully streamline things in a way that could put our organization on solid footing. Now, some folks will say, well, your bond rating was great. And I said, what I did was, the recommendation that came from the auditor was, you got to get ahead of this before the 26, the 27. Yeah. So we were okay, but you can't wait till the 26, 27.
It's fine pushing it out, but then you still are going to get there. So
you're still going to get there. So we had to act so our bond ratings wouldn't suffer, on how we being able to borrow money and things of those nature. So we were able to put a pressure point on that issue. And then so the following state of the government, once the information got back to me from the executive leadership team at the unified government that we had stabilized things, that right now we're in a good position. It's not great, but at least we have breathing rooms to continue to work, to streamline, to find cost savings, and hopefully do things that can prevent us from hitting that critical mass.
Okay, so the whole $23 million is stuck with me. Mm-hmm. Like, did anything ever come out of that, or is that just still being worked on?
I don't know. I mean, that was
that's a lot of money.
That turned into a law enforcement investigation, and that's in the DA's office. I believe the DA, he may or may not have made a decision on that, but that's a question you'd have to answer him. But yes.
So
once I handed it over, I felt comfortable. I was like, okay, my job is done. I've given it to the appropriate authorities to request an investigation to make sure there was nothing nefarious there. Because, when you can't account for something in a responsible way that reflect the current policies, then that's something I wanted our law enforcement to look at. And then what came from that is we tightened up our policies on our purchasing cars and things of that nature to make sure that we didn't go down that road again of, if we brought in an outside independent auditor, they would be asking questions. We can't account for these monies. You know what I'm saying? And you don't want that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not our money. It's not my money to spend. It's not anybody up at City Hall's money to spend. It's the taxpayers' money to be spent appropriately on things that will benefit the county and improve the quality of life for our residents. Now, if that's what that investigation would have turned up, that's fine. But you want to be sure that that's the case.
So speaking of that, like something that's kind of eye-opening, were there anything else that, you got in that position and you were just like, whoa, like I didn't expect, this or that, or anything eye-opening, or like you just like
I think the biggest eye-opener for me is I'm not a politician by trade or nature. I come from law enforcement where it's
internal politics.
It's different. But it's just, again, you identify a problem, you go out and get the job done. And a lot of times failure is an option. There is no gray areas. At least it wasn't for me in law enforcement. The law says this, the policy is this, here's what we can do. Now let's work within that framework to get it done for for our people. And that's the mindset. But politics is a little different. And just over time, I've had to pay attention to politics in this political arena. I think that was the biggest eye opener, is just when I came into office, just running into a wall of politics, and how hard it was to get things done because of politics. And I can say I came in, my motives were pure. I mean, I'm retired. I have no personal gain that I need from anything in being in this position of mayor, other than the satisfaction I would get is knowing that I've improved and helped someone else, or improve the quality of life overall for the residents here in Wyandotte County. If I could say that, then my job is done. But just Tyrone Garner himself, I don't need any personal gain. I don't need anything of value to come from this. And I'm not saying that that's what every politician does, but and I'm not looking to the next election. I'm not looking to anything like that. Matter of fact, when I came in, I shut down all my books. I closed all my bank accounts. There's no fundraising going on. I didn't ask anybody for anything. It was always, what can I do for you to make your life better? I'm here for you. Who do I need to bridge you to improve the quality of life? But for me, just trying to get things done, I think the biggest eye opener was how hard it was to try and get things done with individuals that I really wanted to collaborate with. And that was our commissioners. And I don't know what caused it. But there was a lot of resistance from some of our commissioners to even want to even meet with me. And I don't know why that was. I don't know what caused it, because I didn't come in.
Because you, like, as your job as commissioner, you try to work with every other commissioner and the mayor to, like, improve Wyandotte County. That's like the overall goal. You're the voice of the people, and you come back to your commissioners and the mayor, and you say, hey, this is what we need to do to improve Wyandotte County. And you had trouble just to even sit down with people. Didn't
even want to come to the table. I think that was the biggest eye opener. And then you have some staff members that pick up on that dynamic. And that's when you get into the internal politics. And then they see that, okay, the mayor and the commission, they're not in an alignment. And so you sometimes wonder if certain staff members didn't choose sides. You see what I'm saying? Because then it's even harder to get things done with certain staff members. You know, it just, there was a lot of challenges that I met, both politically and within the halls of the unified government, just to be able to get things done every day.
Mm-hmm.
I worked there for 32 years. I didn't think it would be that hard.
Yeah.
I thought that me being an ex-employee and most people knowing that I worked there for 32 years and knowing my track record, not of being anybody that was involved in any buffoonery or foolishness. You know, I mean, I was a deputy chief. That it would be a lot easier to be able to work with others to be able to get things done. But that was the hardest thing for at least 2 years. Now, I'm not saying that we didn't get anything done, but we could have got so much more done if it would. And some of the things that were eye-opening, you know, I started open mic nights. And I remember there was a lady that came to the mic and she said that, and I'm not going to put any names on this, but she mentioned a certain commissioner. She said, I reached out to this commissioner. And I'm just paraphrasing what she said. You'd have to go back to the tape and get exactly what she said. But basically what she indicated when she spoke is that one of the commissioners told her that they had a silent pact against my office, this commissioner's. And that really stuck with me. And I never said anything about it. The only thing that stuck with me, I had to go home and pray. And I'm like, why? Because if they think that hurts me, it doesn't. Hurts the people. It hurts our community. It hurts people. Our community needs us to work together. They need us to be able to agree. Even if we don't agree on everything, let's find the things we can agree on and let's work on those things and create a better Wyandotte County for our people. And so those were the biggest eye-opening challenges, and I can say biggest disappointment, at least for my about first 2.5 years in office, was that there was a lot of contentious divides that to me didn't have to be. And I've told people that, I guess, based on my background and career, I've always collaborated with people. I could not have been successful as a deputy chief, on the community college board, at the Ad Hoc Group Against Crime, all these places, as the Kansas African American Affairs, the governor wouldn't have even appointed me. If I didn't have the ability to collaborate, get along with people, and find real solutions to problems that impacted the lives of real people every single day. And so, and that's something that was the hallmark of my success, of working with others. You have to, because, you know, one person can't do it alone. You have to get to the table and sit around the table and work with others to get anything done. And that's the thing. I even remember going to commission meetings and literally pleading with the commissioners and saying, you know who you are. Please meet with me, talk with me, come to the table with me. Our community needs us to work together. I used to make those pleas at commission meetings. And I did that not for me, but because I know that our community needed us to work together. And so that was probably the biggest challenge. And as I reflect that, probably one of the biggest disappointments, because I know I don't know what fueled that.
That's what blows my mind. It's just like, why? Like,
I don't know.
There's no, like, if they got a personal vendetta against you when they've never even worked with you.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. But as time went on, I can tell you there was a new election, and as some things transitioned out, I always, again, it goes back to politics. The only rationale I could say, okay, it's just politics. I've still got work to do. I still got to navigate. I still got to show up. I still got to engage this community. I still got to show leadership. I've still got to do what I can, and I'm not going to stop advocating on behalf of the people. You see what I'm saying? Because the issues are too big. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than whatever divides we have going on. And I've got to keep pushing and keep advocating for people, because that's what they elected me to do, is to fight for them.
Yeah.
And that's what I kept doing. And as time went on, because I was persistent and resilient, I had a good team of staff members, and they were just as persistent and resilient. We slowly started tearing those divides down, and good recommendations and policies started getting passed by our commission. And so I'm proud of the work that our team did. I'm proud of the work that A lot of staff members did. I can tell you, I went to our parks director, and going back to, when I talked about graduating from Wyandotte and running for mayor in the community, certain parts of it still look the same.
Yep.
Swings that didn't work, parks that were in disarray. I went to our parks director, and I can tell you, Angel Ferrer, she did an awesome job.
And she's great.
I said, there's no reason our parks should look like this, east of 635. I said, these people work, they pay taxes, they have families. They live in unhealthy communities based on the statistics and the zip codes. They deserve to have the same level of good services and resources that anybody else out west. Yeah. And we have to bring balance to that, because if one part of our community is hurting, then how can we say we have a great community? We don't. And the rising tide of success should be able to lift all boats. And we had to tear down that divide of economic segregation. And I can tell you, leaving out of office, if you go now, starting from Quindaro Park up north, and you go all the way down to Rosedale, just about every park, I would say 99% of the parks east of 635 have been touched, revitalized, revamped. There's new parks. There's a new park in Strawberry Hill. I remember Edgerton Park. Parkwood Pool was closed. One of the first things we did is I worked with Commissioner Townsend, and we got that pool back open when it was slated to be closed. The only pool that we had in our community, Kensington Park, Clam Park. I mean, there's basketball courts, there's walking trails, pickleball courts, and it really makes me feel good that the staff member came to me and said, "What do you need?" And I gave her a call to action. And that's all I could do, because in this form of government, it's not like Chicago or New York where the mayor has a lot of powers. Really, I'm just an advocate. I can't hire, fire, discipline, promote anyone. I don't have that authority like some mayors do in other cities. So really, I'm just an advocate in chief. And when I gave her that call to action, she delivered for the people, not for me, because I'm the advocate on behalf of the people of Kansas City, Kansas, and Wyandotte County. But she delivered in a way that just far exceeded my expectations if you look at what's been done just with our parks. But she's just one. There's other staff members that really stepped up when you talk about things that they've done in regards to policies, especially policy changes that need to happen in areas east of 635. We've lowered the cost of doing business east of 635. So if you're a developer, a lot of the fees, I advocated, and the commission agreed that we needed to forego some of the fees to be able to do economic development east of 635. And people keep saying, well, why east of 635? Well, we wanted to continue building on the success out west. Yeah. And the key word is success. It's the number one tourist destination in the great state of Kansas, just in Village West. Success was already there. But I have to focus on those areas that have been left out, disinvested, disenfranchised. Yes. That success needs to be realized. And so my call to action for staff and to our commissioners were, we really have to work on these disinvested and disenfranchised areas. Because I believe that east, especially where the land was cheaper and where we're closer to Kansas City, Missouri, and where development seems to be going all around it, there's no reason with geographically that area being in the heart of the Kansas City metropolitan area why it shouldn't just be blowing up. It should just be booming. And so I can say that's one of those other big successes that I got the commission to align with me in that regard. As we started really going beyond that divide to really start finding those areas that we could agree on about halfway through my term, that was one of those areas where they agreed. Let's start focusing east of 635. The Quindaro Ruins. To me, that is a diamond in the rough.
Yeah, I remember you even
yes. So much opportunity. Our riverfront, Kansas River, a vision of redeveloping our riverfront, unlike anything you've seen anywhere. I mean, if you look at Louisville, you look at Oklahoma City, even going back with if you've been out to San Antonio, Detroit. I went to Detroit. The amazing thing they've done along their riverfront. I mean, just booming with economic development. The Kansas River offers that opportunity here, and so I saw the potential for these areas east of 635 as being, instead of looking at it as something that people won't come to, people don't want to go to, I saw it as an opportunity for us to really make not Wyandotte County something good, but something exceptionally great and probably a community second to absolutely none. And then when you talk about safety, I can honestly say that the police department, understaffed, even more so when I was there, has done a good job. They say, well, you're just a police officer. You're an ex-police officer. Naturally, you're going to support the police. It's beyond that. To have a great community, you have to have a safe community. And I've always said that. If people don't feel safe in their community, they're going to leave, especially in an area where they feel like their taxes are high, So safety was huge to me. And I can say that under the leadership of Chief Carl Oakman and his command staff and all the great men and women of the police department, historic lows in violent crime. For a while there, they had 100% homicide solvability rate on top of the lows.
Yeah.
That's unheard of anywhere in this nation. And doing that under staff, and then using innovation like the real-time intelligence center that they started. There's so much that they've done to really just enhance safety for our residents. And that adds value because now businesses want to invest. People want to move here because, okay, I can move to a safe community. The schools, reinvesting, some of the bond measures, I'm glad that they did pass. So you've got safe schools. You see what I'm saying? You got safe streets, and you've got parks, and you've got amenities. And so you're really creating that ecosystem and that nexus that really just sets a foundation for growth, prosperity, people that want to anchor themselves and their families in our community. And that brings about long-lasting prosperity. And so I think all the pieces are there for the next mayor to really build on that.
So, and speaking of the next mayor, you had the state of the UG. You addressed everything yesterday, and I want to bring up something that you mentioned about something I think happened. I think in 2022 when they kind of stripped you away of your executive power. And I wanted to just kind of talk to you about that of how did that, because that was a big deal. Like that was right when you got in pretty much. And I'm sure we talked about how a lot of things you wanted to do, you couldn't. And I'm sure that took into play, all the internal politics, stuff like that. And you get in and they're just saying, hey, now you really can't do anything. What was life like then?
Yeah, the mayor originally had the power to control the agenda, which really allowed the mayor to be able to push forth their platform that they ran on and their agenda as they saw fit. The way the charter reads is that it's the mayor recommends policy and actions to the commission.
Yeah.
And the commission's role is to either say yes or no, adopt or reject. That's the separation of powers. The mayor is considered the executive branch, and then the commissioners are considered the legislative branch. That kind of got blurred when they did that. Because now commissioners can, in essence, do what the mayor can do. They can not only recommend policies, they can also vote to adopt them. The mayor only votes if there's a tie, and the mayor can veto an action, which can be overridden by a majority of commissioners, or at least 7 of them. So that kind of took me by surprise. It was unexpected. It was 3 days before Christmas. It was the last commission meeting, I believe, of the year. I call it this Christmas surprise. Didn't know that had been in the works, but it goes back to I had commissioners not meeting with me, talking to me, even though my doors has always been open, not just for commissioners, but for anybody. If you talk to most people, some people took me up on that, and they would come to my office all the time to talk about issues, ask questions. But so that really took me by surprise. It was disappointing, disheartening that just the way it happened.
Yeah.
Because to me, it was just before it got to that point, whatever caused that, I believe that we've got to work through that just by having open communication. Now, the excuse that was used for that from the 3 commissioners that brought it forward was that Mayor Garner won't let stuff go through to the full commission when it comes out of standing committee to be reviewed. Now, there were 4 items, and that was the role as the chief executive, that I needed staff to go back to the table to get more information, or I needed the commissioners to just take a hard look or get more community input, because everything I've done, I've tried to make sure that it's been community driven. I always like to have the community weigh in on a lot of things. And so there were 4 things that I held over and sent back. And that's out of the hundreds of things that go to the commission that they vote on throughout the year. You see what I'm saying? And to say that, to use that as the excuse because I needed 4 things held over for additional work or clarity, or I may make a decision, an executive decision that was just the role that had been afforded to every other mayor before me.
Yeah.
And to use that as an excuse, to me, that was a little shocking, because if I held everything up, nothing would get done on behalf of the unified government, or I should say the people, in regards to the unified government, just pushing policies and making sure the checks are signed and potholes are filled. I mean, so it wasn't so much to hold everything up. It was just to make sure that whatever the commission got, that I recommend that they had all the information they needed to make an informed decision before they voted on those matters. And so, but yeah, that took me off guard. There was a compromise that we all agreed to. So basically how it works now is that I can't stop anything coming out of standing committee. I can just send it back one time to do those things, further work, more community input. But if it's something that didn't reflect my platform, or what I thought would be value on behalf of the people, like other mayors had that discretion, that was taken away.
Yeah. Before I keep going, where's Steve? You got anything going on after this? Like, am I keeping you from anything? Because I got some more questions.
You're fine.
Okay.
No,
I didn't want to run you over.
No, we got you.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So speaking of like all the things that, that you've all the great things you've done and everything, and I know there's a lot of like controversial stuff that like the ordinances that passed and everything. And I know there's a new one that just passed, is the homeless one. Like, can you talk about that? Because I feel like there are a lot of like, there's people saying it's this and people saying it's that. And I feel like I don't think everyone knows exactly what the ordinance is. And so
I put it out on my Facebook.
Yeah.
Because there was so much debate about, again, what it is, what it isn't. So I tried to put a commentary out that explained it through my lens. And I just want to say out the gate, when I was on the police department, I was the commander of community policing. And we started, the police department started CIT, which is crisis intervention training.
Yes.
And that was basically designed to make sure that people got to the services and resources they needed as an option outside of taking folks to jail.
Yep.
Because
jail's not the number one or the first option. It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be. I mean, if you've been in law enforcement for any period of time, you know that you can't arrest yourself out of these problems. Really, law enforcement just is addressing symptoms in at least half the cases. And so I knew that just from my years of experience. I'm not one, and I just want to make it clear, I don't support criminalizing folks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That are struggling with legitimate life issues. And that's my position. I know some folks don't like that. And some folks may champion that, especially someone that embraced Barack Obama's 21st Century Policing Report that really talked about how to address a lot of these social issues to avoid arresting, incarceration, and criminalizing, restorative justice principles. I mean, things of that nature. So if you really look at the intent of the ordinance, right now you can be arrested. It doesn't matter if you're homeless or not. Anybody, for loitering, for blocking a sidewalk, for blocking the street, for disorderly conduct, for littering. I can be arrested for going on your property that you don't want me on.
Yep.
For trespassing. All those laws are on the books, and all those laws were being enforced on people, to include our unhoused population. And so, what we've learned is that a lot of our unhoused population, a lot of them struggle with mental illness. A lot of them struggle with addiction for whatever reason. You have a population that struggles with, prior convictions. Then you have some that they enjoy. I'm not going to say enjoy, but they've become accustomed to being living off the grid, is what one guy told me.
Yeah.
And that's their lifestyle. They're a very small percentage. And then you have the other homeless, that family, that mom or that dad that lost their job.
Yeah.
And got that eviction notice. Next thing you know, they're on the street. That senior citizen, that their Social Security or their pension can't cover their bills anymore.
Yeah.
Now they're on the street. And so this ordinance was designed to have our law enforcement, and not just our law enforcement, but our city public officials, because they engage. We have code enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of code laws that deal with trash, litter, camping. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so what came is our legal team and our police department said is we need a framework.
Yeah.
We need some guardrails, because right now you've got this officer doing it this way, this public official doing it this way, this code enforcement person doing it this way.
Yeah, they're not all on the same page.
Everybody's not on the same page. We need a framework on how best to confront this issue in a way that's humane,
Mm-hmm.
that's compassionate, and that bridges people to the services that they actually need to help them become self-sustainable. So if that person dealing with mental illness, the first step shouldn't be, okay, you're making someone feel uncomfortable, so I'm going to find something to arrest you for. No, I'm going to find a way to get you, hopefully, the help and services you need.
Yeah.
That's going to help you,
Mm-hmm.
not hurt you. The same with that individual that may have addiction. That family. Okay, let's see if we can find you housing or shelter or transitional housing somewhere. At least try and get these things. The other side of that narrative is you have businesses, you have families, and you have individuals that call 911
Mm-hmm.
on those that camp, those that are doing drugs, those that may have mental illness. That's a reality. And they have a right to call 911. Yeah. And so we expect our public safety professionals, and we thrust them in the middle, and we expect them to solve these problems that really they're not trained to solve. They're not equipped to solve.
No.
They're understaffed, and they don't have the resources to solve. Their ask was, give us a framework that we can work from, because we don't want to arrest folks, because we'd rather get them the help, because if we put them in jail, in a short period of time, they're going to be right back out.
Yep.
They're going to reoffend, and then it's just a revolving door.
Yep.
In and out of the jail. We've criminalized them.
Costing taxpayers money, but having them in the jail and the court system and not yet.
Yeah.
So it's just,
and half the time they're not going to show up in court.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have any money to pay any fines.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a merry-go-round to absolutely nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so this ordinance was designed to at least say, before you arrest, the first step is trying to find and get these people help.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? It kind of puts, based on the officer's assessment of the situation, that's the discretion they have. If they assess that these individuals fall into any of those categories, the first step and the guide is to get them the appropriate help before they cite, make an arrest, or put them in the system in a way that is going to be punitive, especially if they're camping, unsafe. And you think about camping. When I was the public safety director of the housing authority, and even on the police department, the conditions that folks live in they're deplorable.
Yeah.
You're talking about feces. You're talking about urine. You're talking about, bugs and rodents and the filth and the trash. We shouldn't want human beings living like that.
No.
And people should not have to feel like that's how they have to live. And then outside of that, the crimes that go on, that don't get reported, that you hear about after the fact, that go on, that don't get reported, and how people are being victimized in these camps as well. So the ordinance was really to help and protect individuals, their safety, and to bridge them to hopefully resources that can help get them back on their feet, as opposed to criminalizing, jailing, and fining. So the unsafe camping ordinance was to get them out of these unsafe conditions and get them into something that can hopefully get them back on their street. So the first step was to say, hey, you're camping on the sidewalk, this isn't safe, or you're camping in this area. We've had a call, because usually most of the police contact with that population isn't because they just go out looking. They'll tell you that they don't have the time or the resources.
Yeah.
But they do have to respond to calls for service from the general public that says they're committing crimes, or I'm concerned about their safety and the safety of others, or whatever the case may be. That engages the police with them. So they have to make an assessment. And so the assessment shouldn't be okay, I'm going to ding you for all those laws that are already on the book. No, my first directive is, in our policy, is to find you the appropriate resources that can help you. And if you're camping here, we're going to give you time to move out of this unsafe condition. If you need help, we'll help you try and find whatever resources are there. But we're not going to cite you and we're not going to arrest you.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That's not going to be the first course of action. Whereas before, there was. There was no framework. There was no guidelines. You're leaving it totally up to the discretion of an individual officer to make a decision based on their policies.
Yep.
And that discretion is wide and long on the options they have. Now we've given them a clear framework with this ordinance to say, no, here's your first step. And even if they are cited because they don't move, they go to court. It even mandated what municipal court would do. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
On how they would, not something punitive. The most someone would get, and that's really up to the judge, would have been community service. So if you were littering, okay, well maybe, because if I litter, I got to pay a fine. I mean, people still have to be held accountable. So, but it wasn't to fine you. We know you don't have any money.
Yeah.
So maybe you go out and you do an hour worth of community service based on what the judge's orders are. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Satisfy that and then bridge you to whatever resources. But those were options that the judges were given as well, as opposed to incarceration and hefty fines.
So I know another hot topic lately has been residency. And I know, you're not going to be in that seat, this upcoming year, but like, how do you feel about residency? I know, because you were the police department and, I was the sheriff's office. That was a part of our gig is you have to live in the county. And so I see the pros and cons in both, but like, I think, my opinion, I think it's kind of time for a change in residency of, letting people live where they want to live. But, I'm not in office. I just have a voice. But I guess, what are your thoughts on residency?
Closing comment on that last topic.
The
last topic is, I want folks to know that actually this ordinance was designed to not criminalize. Because let's be real, being homeless, being poor, having a mental illness, even being addicted to drugs, being a prior convicted person that's gotten out, you've served your time. That's not a crime.
No,
it's not a crime being poor.
Yeah.
So I think the viewpoint that I took on that ordinance is this was actually designed to do everything we can to avoid or criminalizing folks that fell into those categories. If that makes sense.
It makes sense.
And so I know the narrative is, you're criminalizing homeless.
Yeah, because that's what's been thrown by everybody. It's like, now it's illegal to be homeless. And I was like, that can't be what.
No. So the goal was to have some guardrails and a framework for our public officials to follow before you do have to criminalize these individuals. And let's be honest, individuals, no matter who you are as adults, even some juveniles, I mean, there is a level of self-responsibility. If I go out and rob you, doesn't matter where I'm homeless or not.
Yeah.
I'm still going to go to jail. You see what I'm saying? But I'm going to jail for committing an actual violent crime. I'm not going to, you see what I'm saying? That's different than me having a mental illness, maybe me making people uncomfortable, or I'm camping, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't have anywhere else to go. I'm sleeping on a bench. You follow me? And those are the type of things that we wanted our officers to be able to give them some guidelines and some guidance on how to better use their discretion responsibly when they came across those types of issues. Now, the residency, I think that should be, again, I'm community driven. I think that should be totally up to the public. I think that the community needs to be given an opportunity to weigh in.
Yeah.
Right now you've got elected officials, you've got employees, and they're making that debate. What I haven't seen, and I know there was a survey, to me it wasn't a large survey, it was a soft survey, but the community needs to weigh in on this matter, because I don't think that the community should be left out.
Yeah.
Because depending on who you talk to, there's a lot of residents that think they feel some kind of way, and then you've got other residents that don't. I believe that the community needs to weigh in, and a majority of the individuals, whichever way that leans, then that should guide the decisions of our decision makers up at City Hall.
Yeah.
But I think that community input is definitely key in that. and they need to hear both sides.
Yeah.
And they need to make I mean, people are intelligent. I mean, we don't give a lot of our residents enough credit. Sometimes we like to make decisions for them, but not with them.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those, let's make this decision with our community, because especially when you talk about public safety, some people like moving in a neighborhood where I know a police officer lives next door to me, or a firefighter lives 2 doors down, you know. I mean.
Yeah. And so I think I like that idea, of, living, close to public safety and stuff. But then I go back to, and this is just my opinion, but it's like, if I don't want people, because I live in Wyandotte County, I don't have to live in Wyandotte County anymore. I still live in Wyandotte County. I love Wyandotte County, not going anywhere. But then if you don't want to be here, I don't want you to be stuck here. Like, cause then you're just not going to be a happy person, happy citizen. Like, that's just my saying. Just like, I see you're like, oh, here we go.
But see, that's another debate and topic for discussion when communities weigh in, because that opens up another Pandora's box. If you don't want to live here next to Mr. Simmons, then why would you want to work here?
Very true.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't love and care about your neighbors and your community, but you want to work here, get paid, and then go to another community and invest those dollars in another community. You see what I'm saying? That raises a whole nother question. And that's why I think that that type of decision really should be for our community, because those questions need to be asked on both sides. Well, why don't you want to live here?
Yeah.
What is causing it? And I think that's the bigger question, especially when you talk about folks that city employees that say, well, I don't want to live here. My question is always why?
Yeah.
Why don't people want to live in Wyandotte County and Kansas City, Kansas? What is it about our community? And then as elected officials, as public officials, how do we reverse that?
Yeah.
To make this the first place of choice to want to live, work, and raise a family. So people want to live here. They want to stay here. They want to be here, as opposed to, we don't want to live here. And I hear a lot of rationale. Oh, housing, taxes.
Yeah, but I think it's that too. But then I think it's also, I think it opens the door for more applicants for government jobs. I think that also helps too. Because not saying that, you can still hire someone from Kansas, Missouri or Johnson County, but it's a lot easier if you got a qualified candidate in Johnson County and they want to come improve Wyandotte County, but then you're just like, hey, you got to move over.
I struggle with that narrative.
I know,
too.
I can see it.
And I can tell you, and I'm not saying I'm close to, opening up the residency. I'm not. I'm open to it. Let's get out that out of the way. But I have a lot of questions.
As you should. Yeah.
It's just, I had to live here my whole life. As a police officer, I had to go to the store. My son went to school here, just fine. My entire professional career. And then I struggle wrapping my head around, we can't find any qualified candidates. You tell me out of 169,000 people.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying we can't find qualified candidates. I said it opens the door for more candidates.
I get it. But why would you need more when you have 169,000 people? Now, you narrow that down, retirees. You can narrow it down however you want. I just, and if you can't find, well, why aren't our young people, why aren't our families staying and anchoring in Wyandotte County? I mean, to me, this question is hitting on something of a symptom to a greater problem.
Yeah. You're finding the root of the
we
problem.
need to get to the root of the problem, because if we can't find qualified employees that are educated, talented, that want to live here, this is bigger than just people not wanting to be here.
Yeah. I would agree.
Yeah. So we need to really have a discussion about why is this, and really find out. And then once we get to at least get comfortable with maybe getting a handle on what it is that makes it unattractive in people's minds to not want to be here, then how do we fix it?
Yeah.
And we need to work on fixing that. So we don't have to worry about a talent pool of individuals. I remember when I applied to be a police officer, and Steve will tell you, I competed. I was one of 7 that got hired. One of 7 out of 600 individuals that took a test at the Reardon Center. I remember it.
I know when I applied for the police department, was this 2008? there was like 300 and so
Yes.
odd people at the armory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my thing is, what has changed?
Mm-hmm.
And I know that it's probably in some people's mind. I mean, with all the controversy surrounding law enforcement, and maybe it's not as one of those professions anymore that people just aspire to do. I get that, but we're not just talking about law enforcement.
Yeah.
We're talking about throughout the unified government.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying that they're struggling. Other than the fire department, the fire department doesn't seem to have a problem,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a whole nother question. Why does the fire department seem to have? They're not really advocating to open up the residence.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think that a lot more information needs to be gathered. I think a stronger debate needs to be had, because even if we're just talking about public safety across the country, they're struggling finding qualified candidates of individuals that want to be police officers. And a lot of these agencies don't have residency rules.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, you open up the residency rule, are we really solving the problem?
Mm-hmm.
So I just think that we need to pump our brakes just a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
slow down, have a robust conversation, gather all the data, engage our community to make sure that we get community input, and then allow those decisions makers to really sit around the table, have a robust debate about this, and then make a decision.
Yeah. So in your tenure as a mayor for 4 years, was there anything that you didn't get done that you wanted to get done?
Yeah, we really focused on, I'm really proud of the work we've done. I mean, we've got huge developments. I mean, if you look at KU, they're building a world-class cancer center.
Yeah.
Buc-ee's. I've never heard of Buc-ee's until they said they were coming here. And then now I'm sold on
people
Buc-ee's.
that travel
Yes,
to
I heard
Buc-ee's
that.
just
Buc-ee's,
to go to
yeah.
Buc-ee's. Yeah.
Marvin Windows. I mean, awesome job hiring local folks here. Expansions of housing throughout our county at all income levels, not just low income. We've got upper income housing developments that are sprouting up, and everything in between. Multifamily housing, infrastructure. Slowly but surely. I mean, if you look around and if you really pay attention, there are infrastructure projects that are being completed on time, within budget, outside of parks. I think one of the biggest things that I really wish we would have gotten done is something with Indian Springs. I really pushed hard. More developments east of 635. The Quindaro Ruins vision that I really tried to really get going was a Smithsonian-style visitor center there, with access back and forth from Missouri to Kansas, because the slaves had to come from Missouri to Kansas to get free. And the uniqueness of that is because this is the only underground railroad site in our great nation that I could find, in talking to some historians, that really involved diversity of abolitionists, which were Caucasian, Wyandotte tribe Indians, and freed slaves.
Wow.
That were part of the underground railroad system that brought them into the free state of Kansas. Our downtown, really trying to get some things, the Reardon Center, 4th in Minnesota, I call it the Triangle. Bigger developments and amenities along the Quindaro Boulevard. I know I work with Emmanuel Cleaver to ensure that the bi-state, it's a long-term, the bi-state investment sustainable zone, if that's even, if I got it right, but working with him to make sure that Quindaro Ruins was not the Quindaro, but the Quindaro Boulevard was involved in that. It would open up grant monies from everything from entrepreneurship to educational institutions, to daycare, to infrastructure, sidewalks along those corridors that really surrounded transportation. And so I was really hoping that would take off. But 18th and Quindaro, to me, that really, in our mind, some folks said that should be our 18th and Vine. Yeah. Just the history that Quindaro Boulevard has, and trying to do more with that as far as Argentine, looking to build, more housing developments in Argentine. And I think there's more opportunities that I would have liked to see take off down in Rosedale as well. Armandale, the bridges that are out. I really lobbied hard to get the Kansas Avenue, the Central Avenue Bridge, and some of our other bridges open. I've gone to D.C. every year lobbying, and to the state. I've talked to our Secretary of Transportation, talked to our governor, and really lobbied hard to get those funds to try and get here. I know that some of our legislators gave us some money, but it still was not enough to get what we actually needed, the hundreds of millions of dollars we needed to open up these bridges and reconnect our community to the broader community. I mean, because right now, if you look with 18th Street down,
and
if you go out in Turner, Central, Kansas Avenue, I mean, certain parts of our community, it's really hard to get in and out because it's a bottleneck because of our bridges. Even if you go in the Northeast, K5, I mean, it's just these areas have been closed off. And so really worked hard on that. I would really like to see a lot more investment in those areas. People say, well, why didn't the unified government do that? Well, you go back to what I said at first. The unified government, for whatever reason, decisions that have been made prior to me becoming mayor, and even our commissioners, we've inherited a lot of challenges, financial challenges from prior decisions, decades-old decisions. And now they've caught up with us. And here we are trying to navigate and work through them. And that's why it's so important that the decisions that we make today, that as leaders, that we try and do everything to make the right decisions, because if we don't, decades down the road, that generation of leaders is going to inherit those problems.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we're seeing now. But a lot more investment east as far as amenities, resources, tried hard to get a grocery store in the area of 18th Quindaro. Just couldn't get that right developer that really wanted to make that initial investment. I can't say, people talk about the Merck. Yes, it is closing, but that is one area that I'm optimistic about. We are currently in talks with a grocerer.
Oh, good.
That can hopefully just once they close it, just go right back in.
Yeah.
Hopefully it won't be a huge transition. It should be seamless. And folks down here will still be able to get the good services and resources. Not only they've come to expect, that they deserve. And so we're excited about that. There are several proposals on the table to get the Reardon Center back open. That's something I really wanted to do.
We need a convention center down here.
We do. That's one of those areas I disagreed with the commissioners on. I think they wanted to tear it down and just build housing, which is fine.
Yeah.
The proposal I had is I talked to the developer, and my option was, why don't we just do both?
Yeah. That's the way it couldn't.
And he said, you can.
Yeah.
He said, I can keep the convention center, because a lot of folks remember the convention center and all the events and the things we used to have there. I can tell you, I remember the firemen. They had their ball. It hurt me to have to go to a ball for our firemen in KCK in Johnson County. When I know we used to have those things but if you don't have a convention center,
you can't do anything.
You can't do those types of things. A lot of church groups that would have their conventions, and we're missing out on so much. So my proposal and recommendation to the commission was, let's do both. Let's keep our convention center, and let's build the type of housing that you want, or at least that was envisioned as well. I think there was enough room for shared success, and it just fell through. But that opportunity is still there. The building is solid. A few months back, I walked through with our facilities maintenance leader, John Kelly. That building is solid. It has a fairly new roof on it. There is money there that it is there for upkeep. So really, hopefully, the next commission and mayor will really take that on as a priority and do something to, at least, because I always say that's the gateway to KCK. Because if you come off I-70 over the Lewis and Clark Viaduct and you just happen to come on Minnesota, what are you going to run into? You're going to run into 5th and Minnesota. And what's there? Currently a boarded up building. It's not a good look for our community. And so that should be something that really should be iconic, that says welcome to Kansas City, Kansas, and something that says this is a great place to live, to work, and raise a family, especially as you go down Minnesota Avenue. I can say that Dawn Rattan and what she's doing, and what she's really trying to do with her vision with downtown shareholders to really invigorate new and innovative ideas and energy in our downtown, along with our community college. The future's bright.
Yeah.
And I don't want anyone to think that opportunities don't exist for one day. We are flush with opportunity right here in Kansas City, Kansas. And to me, that is the hope that I have with me leaving office, that the foundation is there for the next group of leaders to build on, is because we just have so many awesome opportunities to do really great things for our community here in Kansas City, Kansas.
So speaking of the next, great leaders that are going to come up or hopefully, the people that are getting elected, like we have a new mayor coming in, Crystal Watson. And so what has the transition been like with you and her? And like, did you give her any advice? And like, how do you feel about her? Like, all the questions. Cause I know you guys did a State of the UG address yesterday, but
I'm excited. She's the first African-American female mayor, the second female mayor in the history of our great city. I'm excited. She's very energetic. She's very charismatic.
Yes.
She has vision. She's proven her leadership capabilities in a variety of ways. She has a track record of success. She's homegrown. She's an original DOTTE. She knows a lot of people throughout the metro. She's built a great network of connections. And I think all those attributes are going to lend her well. Plus, she's like me. She's a collaborator. She knows that to be able to get anything done, if you listen to her message, together, I'll say together. We've got to do things together. The same message that I brought on is collaborate. I might have said collaborating. She's saying together, but it means the same thing.
Same message.
It's the same message. We have to work together to be able to get the types of things done that our community not just deserves, but folks are demanding. And I think she's going to bring that level of leadership to really take what I couldn't get done, hopefully take it to the next level of success and prosperity. And so I'm excited, and I'm anxious to see the work that she's going to do. But I totally support her. The transition, I tried to do my part to make sure that she's able to go to work on day one. She shouldn't have to worry about where's the key to my car. Do I have a badge to get up to the 9th floor, or just those nuances? I kind of wanted all those things to be out of the way, so she can come and really start working on the issues that are most important to her team, but more importantly to our community, and start doing the real work and not worrying about the nuances of the day to day. And so we tried to bridge, in a way, my team and her team to try and just make that transition as smooth for her as possible. I want her to feel welcome in that building. I want her to feel like she's the mayor. She's the CEO. Our charter says that the mayor is the visible head of our government. She's earned that right. The people have spoken. They voted for her to be in that position. And I think it behooves all of us, that's part of our democracy, that we support her, and all our other electeds that got elected as well. Because their success and working together, like she says, or I may say collaboration, if they're successful, we're all successful.
We're all successful.
This community is successful. And so we've got to help them be successful, not just individually, but collectively, working together to get things done. And so, and we just can't leave it up to them. They need all of us. They need our support. They need our guidance. They need to know where we need them to focus. They need us to show up. They need to hear from us. And we have to give them that support. But they also need to know, just like me, trust me, folks will let me know, well, we really don't want you going down that alley right there. That's not a priority for us. I know that's kind of where you're leaning, Mayor. We want you back over here.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to give your leadership and give them those guardrails to make sure they're on track, on focusing on things that matter to you and your family the most, that matter to this community, things that reflect our values. Because, we're all people. I'm still Tyrone. I'm not better than anybody. I put my shoes on one at a time, my pants one at a time. I have a role as mayor, but I'm still a person.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect. Maybe there's somebody out here that thinks they are, but for the rest of us, you know what I'm saying? Somebody had to help me. I needed a mentor. I needed guides. I couldn't do anything by myself. And so we need to make sure that we provide that level of support, both good and encouraging for all our elected leaders, to make sure that the decisions they make really reflect what the direction that we need them to go in the betterment of our community. And I think they would appreciate that.
So what are you going to do now? That's like the $1 million question.
I'm just going to enjoy life. Enjoy life. And I'll just have to leave that there. I'm just going to enjoy life for now. Yes. It's been almost 40 years of public service. It's been an honor, a pleasure.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed
serving. To take a break.
Yeah. Well, I hope. We'll see. We'll see. But just for now, it's been an honor, a pleasure, just serving. That's been my ministry. I believe that's what God put me here for, is to help others. And really, I think that's what God put us all here for. At some point, you got to reach down and help somebody else. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that God put us here just to help ourselves. At some point, you got to give back in whatever way, in time, talent. You know what I'm saying? Financial, whatever way you can. Just being able to help somebody else should be a life journey. So it doesn't stop for me. Just because I'm not mayor anymore, it doesn't mean I'm not going to stop caring. I'm not going to stop helping. I'm not going to stop mentoring. I'm not going to stop doing my part to make a difference, because it goes back to what I said before. All of us have to work together to really build the type of communities that we want, not just for ourselves and not for our families, but for generations to come. Truly to make life better for everyone in whatever neighborhood, whatever community. So get involved. And that's my message. Get involved, get engaged, get to know your neighborhood groups. There's neighborhood groups all over Wyandotte County. I went to a neighborhood group. They had their Christmas celebration, and it just felt good to see neighbors connecting with each other, and knowing that they are talking, they are communicating, they are looking out for each other. They are looking how they can improve their neighborhoods at the grassroots level. And that's powerful. And so hopefully those types of things continue. But I'm excited about our new leadership. I'm excited about the potential. All I could do is try. Again, I'm one person. I can say that I believe that we've left the unified government as in good of hands for the next slate of leaders as we could leave it. We've stabilized things. I believe that just through me, even though we had challenges at the beginning with kind of that cohesive working together, I can honestly say, because we started out with that, the challenge, but we've moved beyond that challenge. What you're seeing now is you're seeing staff members, you're seeing elected officials, you're seeing community members. People are starting to work together to find those real solutions to those real problems, to celebrate in a way that when we do realize success, that we're all sharing in it. You see what I'm saying? So you're seeing the doors of communication, whatever barriers are there, they're coming down. I don't see now. I can tell you. I remember I told you that I had trouble commissioners even meeting with me. I don't have that problem anymore.
That's good.
They come and talk to me. They come and meet with me. They'll pick up the phone. They'll call me. You see what I'm saying? I can go to them. They can go to me. So
hopefully that keeps translating over to
I believe it will.
Yeah.
I believe so. I can see that the atmosphere has shifted because whatever may have been there, I believe that has really subsided to the point to really it's totally irrelevant. And I think people now see, both staff and administration, that the challenges we have are bigger than us. And everybody's realizing that we can get so much more done working together. You see what I'm saying? And finding common ground. And I think that's what you're seeing, because now over this last year and a half, I've seen good policies, beneficial policies for our residents. The pilot, that was one of those things that I came in saying, we've got to do something about our BPU pilot. Well, we kind of hit a snag of getting the pilot off the bill. So we said, okay, there's a workaround. And that's all that collaborating that I talked about. Well, what's the workaround? Well, wow. Why don't we just lower the pilot? So we've taken it from 9% when I became mayor to now it's 9.9%. And the plan is to keep lowering it to the industry standard of about
11.9 to 9%.
9.9.
Good.
And the plan is to keep lowering it to the industry equivalent of about 5 to 6%. You see what I'm saying? And so good things are happening. We've got community benefits policies in place. We've made it easier again for developers to develop in certain parts of our community. There's a land bank. The land bank policy has been revamped. I mean, we've got developers that are snatching up these land bank and they're building quality, affordable houses on these properties.
Mm-hmm.
The property tax question. I believe when I came in, I don't think people were really paying attention, but through my advocacy and my persistence, and not just me, but the community really coming out, I can tell you, staff and our electeds, that is one of their priorities. How do we hold the line on unnecessary tax increases that compound, that hurt our families? Because now they're saying, okay, how can we streamline? Where can we find cost saving measures at? Are there any innovations out there that we can use? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
How do we make things so we don't have to increase costs in an area that we don't need? And then we invest in these areas where investments are needed most. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll put investments over here because we know that investment is going to really be, we might want this over here. Yeah, that's a want. But the need is greater over here.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to transfer from here to here. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Until we can shore this up. These are the types of conversations that I'm starting to see happening. And that's something that I think our community should really be proud of. You got commissioners, staff, and even our community members starting to work, talk, and communicate and working together to make Wyandotte County, and I always say, a great and safe place to live, work, and raise a family. And that is truly exciting. And hopefully I did my little part to really bring that forward. You know what I'm saying? And but I'm starting to see more and more of that cohesiveness. Another great example, the cities of Bonner Springs, Edwardsville, and Lake Covere had always not felt like they were really a part of their unified government. When I came in, I said, no, I started the One Wyandotte initiative. Now, Lake Covere, Bonner Springs, Edwardsville, they're at the table.
Yeah.
We just opened a satellite facility out there for Treasury for their health department as well. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now their residents, they're getting those.
Feel like they're included.
They're included. You see what I'm saying? And so, that whole unity, not just being a unified government, but a unified community, I think is something that I'm starting to really see take off. When you talk about One Wyandotte, and that unified government, I don't know the history on who came up with that. It kind of bothered me because, when you say we're a unified government, beyond that, we're really a unified community.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the message that I want people to see. Doesn't matter whether you're elected, whether you're a staff member, whether you're the activist, whether you're the individual that just goes to work and we're a unified community of great people doing great things that love our community. We call ourselves DOTTE. And that's something we can all be proud of. I've tried to go out my last year really highlighting, because the media is so good about, tragedy chasing over in Wyandotte County.
Negative.
Yes. And I tried to go out and we said, okay, let's highlight good people doing great things.
Yeah, the DOTTE proud. Yeah.
Yes. Awesome businesses providing the types of good service and resources. And let's go celebrate what makes Wyandotte County uniquely special. And so I went out and we created the DOTTE Proud recognitions. And that has really taken off. Because I want people to see that we have good people in Wyandotte County. We got people that care about their neighborhoods and their communities. They care about each other. We've got great businesses that you need to come see and
a
visit.
lot of people don't even know about.
That you don't know about. The barbecue trail. When I came up with the idea of the barbecue trail, people didn't know we had all these barbecue restaurants right here in Wyandotte County. Like, wow, you don't just have, Casey Joe's. And I'm like, no, we got Slaps. We got, you know what I'm saying? We got, you got Holy Smokes. You know what I'm saying? You got, so we have so many. Wyandotte. So, and people didn't know. And you don't know what you don't know. But once you put good information out there, I think that part of my job, too, is promoting all things good and positive in Wyandotte County. You're always going to have challenges. You're going to say, the bridges are out, the potholes are this. Okay, but to me, the good of who we are as people and the good things going on in Wyandotte County far outweigh the bad. I mean, we've got great festivals.
Yeah.
Third Walk right here.
Yes. Love
Brings
Third
them
Walk.
out.
Yep.
Every summer, go up. You've got Arisha Towers and her We Buy Black and the black market. You go into Silver City Days. You see what I'm saying? You go out and
the Day of the Dead parade.
You got the Day of the Dead.
Yeah,
you go out.
Edgar,
You go out in Bonner, Tiblo days. You see what I'm saying?
There's a lot of cool stuff.
There's a lot of great stuff that that really bring people out, that really highlight the diversity that makes this community great. And those are the things that I think that I owed it as a mayor to try and champion best I could, to let folks know, okay, yeah, we got our. So does every other city. Every other city that I know about.
Perfect. Yeah.
I've been to mayor's conferences. They're dealing with homelessness. They're dealing with poverty. Some are even dealing with crime. Unlike, I wouldn't want their crime issues.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? They're dealing with housing shortages. They're dealing with bureaucracy. Other mayors deal with the same issues I dealt with. You know, I've heard mayors, I got to get along better with my council and those types of things. How do we find common? That's just the nature of this profession. But I can say the good in Wyandotte County far outweighs the bad. We're a great community of great people with great things happening. There's no other city in the great state of Kansas say they have the #1 tourist destination.
Yeah.
You know, I know a lot of folks say, oh, Village West, but we still need to champion Village. It's ours.
Yep.
It's uniquely Wyandotte. You know what I'm saying? We have great sports teams right here. You know what I'm saying? Johnson County doesn't have that.
Yeah. Hopefully we get another sports team.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Yeah. So we champion all. I tried to champion all things positive the best I could, and let folks know that we've got great things going on over here. So whatever you hear negative about Wyandotte County, for every one negative, I can give you 5 positives.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And that's what I tried to do as a mayor. Okay, you may have got 1 pothole over here out, but we filled 5 over here. You see what I'm saying? And we're going to get to that one. You follow me? You know, so the conversation on how to get better, how to improve the quality of life and create safe and livable neighborhoods, it never stops.
Yeah.
But we have that. We have all those things here, and we have great people that care about Wyandotte County. And I don't think people know that. I think that's what really impresses me about Kansas City, Kansas, and Wyandotte County is our people. People truly care. And if you're a DOTTE, you've been living, everybody knows everybody. You know what I'm saying? They know you. They know
like
Mike
2
Simmons.
degrees of separation.
Yeah,
in Wyandotte County. Everybody know everybody.
They know who your daddy is.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? They
either we're related or we know somebody that related to. Yeah.
and everybody will say they're good people. You see what I'm saying? Most people in Wyandotte County will give you the shirt off their back. If they're eating, they're gonna make sure you eat too. You could. There's very few picnics that I can't say that I could walk up to at any park, and they ain't gonna offer me a plate.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? They're going to say, come on, get you a plate.
Yeah.
I've had it happen. I've seen it happen to other people. And so that's just the type of people we are in Wyandotte County. And so that's the message that I think that should resonate beyond all the challenges. We can sit and talk about challenges all day. That's easy. Oh, you know, we got problems here. We got problems with this, that person, that, and that person. But when do we move past that and start finding the good? And one of the things I like to do is, I can say, I had challenges with commissioners, but I worked hard to build those relationships. And now we do have open communication. How do I change? Maybe it's not them. Maybe it's me.
Yeah.
What do I need to do? What does Tyrone need to work on? You know, that's the question I had to ask myself is, am I doing something wrong? And even out of the community, how do I find ways to pull people up? Not pull them down, but pull up, uplift, encourage. You know, sometimes that's all it takes. It's just recognizing and valuing people, you know, because we're all people. We all have the same, you know, I can go to anywhere in this community. It doesn't matter who you are. Everybody wants a safe neighborhood.
Yep.
They want clean streets. They want resources, goods, and services, amenities. They want it to be treated fair. And at the end of the day, they want better for their kids and for the future generation of their neighborhood and the community they live. That's it.
Yeah.
And that narrative, it doesn't matter what, on that social economic ladder, that narrative is the same. You know, for most people, it's the same. And so I'm excited about Wyandotte County, the future, the leadership. And get back to your question. Fully support Crystal. She's going to do great. I have a complete confidence just based on what I've seen so far of her messaging, what I know about her background. She's going to do great, but she can't do it alone.
Yeah.
And that's why she keeps stretching together. And I agree. We've got to make sure that she's successful by supporting her in the good things that she's trying to do. And things that she may be challenged on, that's where you just have that conversation and you have that talk with her and hopefully just keep her and her team on track so they don't lose sight of what's important to everyday folks out here.
Yeah.
So
I got 2 more questions, and then I'll let you go about your busy day. I know you got a lot more going on. But so my next question is, like, how do you want people to remember you by? Like, when they say Tyrone Garner, former Mayor Tyrone Garner, how do you want them to remember you by?
I just hope people, irregardless of, I built the big Taj Mahal or didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I got their, pothole fixed or didn't. If you thought the meetings were too long at the unified government are not long enough. I just hope people just know that I didn't sign up for mayor because I had to or I wanted to. I did it because I care about people. I love Wyandotte County. I moved back here to do this job. I hope people remember me as just being somebody that throughout my life, my motives have always been pure. Mm-hmm. There's very few people that I've asked for anything. I don't like asking people for anything. I've always been that person that said, what can I do for you? And I just hope outside of all of that, is people remember that I'm someone that truly cared.
Yeah.
That I truly cared about people, and I did the best I could do with what I had, with very little resources, to try and make a difference. And I just hope me leaving, if I made a little difference in somebody's life, hopefully that meant something to someone, somewhere.
That's awesome. So, and then my last question would be, what message do you want to send to the people of Wyandotte County, since, this is your last month, really? Like
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Oh,
less, actually, a week and a half.
So, I mean, this is probably your last message as mayor. So what do you want to tell the people of Wyandotte County?
Don't stop believing. Mm-hmm. Don't ever lose hope. Stay encouraged. Stay engaged. Keep loving one another. For all the issues we have in the world, I just firmly believe that love will always conquer any form of hate. And keep working with others to build the type of community that we want for ourselves. What we want Wyandotte to be, not just for today, but for generations to come. Just stay encouraged. Because one thing I've learned about DOTTE is we're resilient. Mm-hmm. We've come through a lot of stuff. I mean, every challenge, generations before us have survived and overcome. So Wyandotte County is going to be okay. Yeah. The best is yet to come. I just feel like something great is on the horizon for Wyandotte County. I can't tell you what that is, but greatness definitely awaits, and I want people to stay encouraged and don't lose hope. It hurts me when you go back to that question you had about residency. Mm-hmm. I want people to.
You want people to want to be here.
I want people that want to be here. Mm-hmm. I want people to see this as a place. Now, I moved out, but I moved out because of a job and for some other reasons. But had it not been for that, I've been here my entire adult life. You see what I'm saying? So I just want people to feel like this is a great and safe place to live, to work, and raise a family, and know that this is a community. In their minds, I want them to believe that. Second to absolutely none. Mm-hmm. Our problems aren't unique to us. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And we shouldn't feel like that. Yeah. And we should never let anybody make us feel less than because we're from Wyandotte County. A lot of great folks that have done great things have originated from Kansas City, Kansas, and from Wyandotte County. People that we are all proud of, and they're DOTTE. And they've done great things at the national scale and some on the worldwide scale. And so great people have came from our community. We should never lose our pride of who we are and what we're about and the uniqueness and the strength of our diversity that makes Kansas City, Kansas, Wyandotte County a community second to none. Yeah. This is a great community. And if I want people to remember that and not lose hope, stay encouraged, and be proud. Be proud of Kansas City, Kansas. Be proud of being a DOTTE. Be proud that this is your home, And let's help our leaders be not just good leaders, but great leaders by staying engaged with them.
Well, once again, I want to reiterate, I want to thank you for, one, coming here to do this podcast, and two, putting yourself out there to be elected to be the mayor. And I want to thank you for everything you've done, you know, the good, the bad, the ugly. Like you did it. Like that was, I mean, you put yourself out there, and it ain't easy. And I know it's not easy. And I wanted to thank you because, you know, it's kind of a thankless job because you probably don't hear thank you a lot in that spot. But I wanted to say thank you for, you know, doing everything you could for Wyandotte County.
Well, and you know, you come from the same profession that I came from. You don't get into public service for kudos or thanks.
No, not at all. No.
I think the fulfillment comes from me what I can see. If I can see that I made a difference, if I can see that, that's my fulfillment. I don't need a lot of thanks or pats on the back. I don't come to work for that. That's not what, you've been in that profession. That's not what we come to work to do. The fulfillment comes in knowing that you made a positive difference, and you can see and you can feel that.
Yeah.
That's what makes you feel good. That's what makes you sleep good at night. Knowing that you did your part in a collective, and that you just didn't sit on your hands. That you actually tried to do something bigger than yourself.
Yeah,
and that's a fulfillment. But thank you.
Yeah,
nevertheless, and it's been a great journey that we've taken, all of us as a community together. And I go back. I have to thank the community. For the privilege to be the mayor, and for all the support that I've had, throughout various corners of this community. It just really means a lot. It's been an honor and it's been a pleasure to serve in so many capacities here in Kansas City, Kansas. And it's something that, again, hopefully I left a lasting positive impression in somebody's mind that I tried. I did everything that I could. I tried. And that's the end of the day, is that I tried to make a difference.
Well, thank you. And I wish you nothing but success in future endeavors, whatever that is. Hopefully you get to rest just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit before you go into your next adventure.
Yeah.
But thank you again. And thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. And once again, thank you to Mayor Tyrone Garner for joining us. It's been a pleasure, and we will catch you guys next week.
All right. Happy holidays.